Procrastination is a common struggle faced by individuals across various domains of life, from students tackling academic assignments to professionals managing work projects. Despite our best intentions and desires to be productive, the allure of procrastination often proves too strong to resist. So why do we procrastinate? We know it's bad for us. Why is it so easy to do it? Number one reason many of us procrastinate is the fear of failure. In a 2013 study examining the relationship between procrastination and perfectionism, the finding that the fear of failure was a significant predictor in procrastination. We see this all the time when there's a task or a big project we have to manage, and knowing that we're going to have to put in all this effort and just hoping that we don't fail at it. I used to be a public school teacher, and I can't tell you the number of times that students would look at a simple worksheet paper or maybe even a longer project and simply decide not to do it because they didn't want to put in all the effort and then find out that they failed. When you see this big mountain ahead of you, it's so much easier to just say, nah, I'm not going to do that, at least not today. A study by Ferrari and Tice in 2000 investigated task aversion as a contributor to procrastination, particularly in the academic settings. They found that students often procrastinated on tasks that they found aversive or just uninteresting. I see this all the time when you're looking at a closet to declutter or some giant project that just doesn't seem like it's worth the effort. It is way easier to leave those dishes in the sink and just scroll on social media because dishes are uninteresting. Social media, a little bit more interesting than that. Oh, we're gonna move into the kitchen for this one. This one is perfectionism, with social media showing our highlight reel and curated version of how people are supposed to live. It's so easy to think, oh, well, I can't start that now because my kitchen isn't clean, or I don't have my makeup on, or my hair isn't ready. And therefore, we just procrastinate, save it for another day when we'll be perfect, right? Another reason you may be procrastinating is called temporal discounting, which suggests that people often discount the value of a future event compared to an immediate one. That's why it's so hard to stick to an exercise program or even quit a bad habit. In procrastination terms, I know that I need to do my taxes, yet here we are, not doing my taxes. So here are 5 tips that might help you avoid procrastination. Number 1, break it down. Basically, you're going to take the larger portion of the assignment and chunk it into smaller pieces. I had to do this often as a teacher. Instead of handing a student the entire project, we would hand it to them in checkpoints. And checkpoint 1 was due at a certain time. Once that was done, we could then move on to checkpoint 2. As an adult, it's a little bit hard to give yourself checkpoints. So instead of cleaning the house, for example, let's chunk it into smaller pieces. Okay, we'll start with the kitchen. Let's start with the first thing, picking up the floor. Next, we'll move on to the dishes. Next, we can move on to the counters. Essentially, you are just doing smaller portions of the project, one piece at a time, until the next thing you know, you turn around and you've done enough. Number 2 is to set specific goals. If you haven't heard of this before, there's a thing called SMART goals. You are going to set goals specific to what needs to be done, something that's measurable, attainable, relevant to what you're trying to get done, and timely. So for example, if you're trying to get your entire closet decluttered, you'll need to set a SMART goal, and you can even chunk them down. So part of the whole closet is just the simple hanging pieces. So maybe a SMART goal for you would be to take out all of those clothes that are hanging, go through them all, declutter which pieces you don't want anymore, and put them back. And this needs to be done in 3 days' time. This small goal is specific to decluttering your whole closet. It's measurable because you are looking at the hanging clothes and just the hanging clothes. You can also see which clothes you've decluttered, and so that is measurable in itself. It's attainable because likely most people can go through all of their hanging clothes in their closet within so many hours. It is relevant to the task, and it's timely. You have 3 days to get it done. If you're using a deadline and it's an important goal to you, actually tell someone about it. Be accountable to it. In fact, there's this little hack that I use. I will actually Marco Polo or FaceTime a friend if I need to do something like work on the budget or do something on my computer. I will literally pull up my phone and say, hey, I am just Marco Poloing you at this time because I need to work on this project. And so while I am talking to them, I am physically going to my computer, opening it up, grabbing my pencil, grabbing my notebook, doing all the little tiny things that it's so easy to get distracted by. I'm doing that while I'm on the phone with them because they are my accountability partner. And then I say, okay, I'm ready. And I open whatever program it is I need to open, and I start looking at the first thing, and then I can stop. That has been the hugest hack for me, is simply getting started. Number 3, you can use time management techniques. For me, I have to be very, very specific in how I can manage my time in doing something like YouTube where I need quiet time, mainly because I only have about 30 minutes a day that both of my children are sleeping. However, if you have the option to have unlimited uninterrupted time, or you have a specific time period, you can gamify your time that you use for the project. So instead of just sitting down and trying to go through everything all in one go, you can actually sit down and say, I'm just going to do this one part, I'm going to do it for 25 minutes, and then I can take a break for 5 minutes. Just be aware that when you do take your break, you don't get sucked into something like social media for a long time, or you try to do something that takes longer than 5 minutes, like put away all of your laundry for the entire week. Number 4, we're going to address perfectionism. Like, I don't even have a clean dining table here, and I decided to sit down and just film the YouTube video already. Actually, did you notice that this is my first YouTube video? Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Lauren. I hope you are enjoying this video so far. You don't have to be perfect to start the project. The project doesn't have to be perfect. We are all human. We can make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can be a learning growth curve. Is that even a word? I don't know. I'm sure as I'm editing, I'm going to be looking at how many times I've used my hands in no particular way, or looking off into the distance and not addressing the camera. I'm probably going to be nitpicking every single little thing. But is that going to stop me from uploading the YouTube video? I hope not. And finally, number 5 is find motivation. Even if the project is boring or you have no reason to be doing it, it's just something that you have to do. You need to make a motivation for yourself. So something like listening to your audiobook, but you have to be doing the dishes while you're listening to your audiobook. I've seen this in exercise programs where you can watch your TV show that you want to watch, but you have to be on the treadmill while you're watching it. For something that I can't get distracted with, like budgeting or doing the taxes, I'm going to let myself afterward do something as a form of motivation or a reward. Editing Lauren here. Oh, that is too close. I actually did do my taxes, and I did not allow myself to edit my first YouTube video until I was done with submitting my taxes, and they sucked. It was so bad. It was so hard, but I did it. It's done, and now this is my reward, is editing and uploading a video. So there's that. If you're doing a gigantic project like trying to complete a book, maybe you can give yourself small rewards at the end of each chapter or at the end of 1,000 words. Regardless, identify your reasons for completing the project and remind yourself of them regularly, whether it's personal fulfillment, professional advancement, or the satisfaction of meeting a challenge. Keeping your motivation in mind can help you stay focused and committed to the task. Okay, this leads me to my final question. What are you procrastinating by watching this video? Let me know in the comments below.